Hi, my name is Neil Sibel. I'm an artist, songwriter, and producer. Now, I want to talk to you today about how to program rich and vibrant sounds on a synthesizer. The simple idea of sound programming is to take a sound and enhance it. That's the basic idea. Now, you can do that by manipulating various sound parameters on your synthesizer. Think of those sound parameters as your toolbox. Typical sound parameters you'll want to manipulate or edit include your filters that include cutoff and resonance. Cutoff determines how dark or bright your sound is. Resonance can add ambience or sparkle to your sound. Then you have your oscillators. The Korg Radius gives you two oscillators where you're able to essentially select from 4 different waveforms for each. That includes sine wave and saw. Oscillator waveforms can determine the texture of the sound. Sine wave gives you a smoother texture, whereas saw can give your sound a more pulsing texture. It's good to experiment with oscillator waveforms and find the right combination between 1 and 2 for the sound. If you want to add a little static to your sound, you can apply some noise. Applying depth is a great way to increase the tonality of your sound and is similar to cutoff. I would leave pan controls for when you are mixing in your sequencer, but you can increase the amp of your sound, which is basically the volume level if you like at this point. Applying modulation such as cross modulation or VPM is a great way to breathe life and vibrance into your sound. Using a light touching of modulation is required. On the Radius, you can do this via Control 1 and Control 2. Now we turn to Unison. You can turn Unison on, change the mode to poly, and edit the number of voices, detune, and spread. Unison is a great way of adding a certain fullness and richness to your sounds. Sometimes you can simply add dimension to a flat sound just by activating Unison. Next are envelope controls, which determine the shape of the sound. Usually you'll want to keep the shape of the sound the same and possibly just add a little sustain release to let the sound breathe a little more. For example, you can make a string sound more flowing just by increasing its release. If you want to add a little character or accent to the sound, you can apply some portamento. Portamento can work great on a high lead or pad, giving it a certain futuristic glide. Next, you might want to edit the EQ of the sound. The Korg Radius gives you 2 EQ settings, low and high. Low EQ will bolster your sound, giving it more bottom on the lower end, and high EQ a bit more sparkle at the higher end. Now it's time for some effects. The Radius gives you 2 insert effects and 1 master effect. Just a second. Solid effects you can plug into the insert effects are chorus and delay. For chorus, you'll want to create a good blend between dry and wet, where more dry is a little chorus and more wet is more of a generous amount of chorus applied to the sound. Chorus adds a certain slickness to your sound. You'll want to do the same with delay. Just a light touching of delay is sufficient, I would say. Delay can make the sound bounce or float just a little more. On the Master FX, you can apply nice reverb such as a smooth hall and again create a good blend between the dry and wet. Sometimes a nice 50-50 split works well, especially on a synth EP. Reverb adds a certain spaciousness and roominess to the sound. So that's it. You've taken your basic factory sound and enhanced it greatly, making it sound so much better, richer and vibrant using an array of different sound parameters on your synthesizer. Remember to save the sound. An important sound programming technique I would like to mention is one which I have devised called full range parameter programming. This entails detecting the best value setting for the edit control you're applying to the sound. More simply, let's say you are adding resonance to a sound. With full range programming, you want to start at 0, so turn your resonance knob all the way to the left. Then you want to rotate the knob right all the way to its maximum, which is 127 on the Radius, and all the way to the right. Then you'll want to rotate the knob again slowly all the way back, all the way left, back to 0. You'll want to repeat this process several times, and the purpose of doing this is so that your ears catch the full range of possibilities that particular parameter, in this case resonance, has on the sound. When you're ready, you can comfortably now apply the right amount of resonance to your sound, having a snapshot of the range of possibilities from applying full range parameter programming. By applying full range parameter programming on each and every sound parameter, you can ensure that you will be meticulously programming some amazing sounds. One more technique I would like to mention which I have devised, is sound version programming. This is a simple but robust concept, and entails programming the same sound in multiple different ways, so you are essentially creating different versions of the same sound. For example, I could program a string sound and call it strings V1. Then I could program the same string sound again, trying out different settings, and call it string V2. Now I have two versions. Simply, I can cycle through each version and pick the one I most like and use that for my strings. Sound version programming allows you to create as many different versions of the sound as you like, and is a great way for you to hone your sound programming skills in general. Well, that's it. Two great techniques for you to adopt in your sound programming adventures: full range parameter programming and sound version programming. You can hear a live demonstration of all techniques I've talked about in my album Shimmers Through the Dawn, which encompasses a great, meticulously programmed sounds, specifically amazing 80s and 90s retro sounds. Just click the link in the description to go to iTunes and pick up a copy of the album. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and stay tuned for some more great, insightful videos.